Hi guys, thanks for tuning into this video. This one is going to be a install of TrackIt. It's the new version, so the 20XX range as we call it. The latest version at the time of this video is 2019 release 3. So we're going to be doing the installation from this just so you've got an idea how that looks on a fresh 2016 server. So I'm going to run this through. No edits, no cuts. I will pause just to eliminate any sort of time waiting for the installation to take place. But hopefully, as I say, a fresh 2016 server with IIS installed. Obviously, that is a criteria as it is a web-based solution. And we will take this through and just see if there's any pitfalls that we come across during the installation. So I'm logged on as an administrator, and I'm going to run the TrackIt executable, and this will go through the installation wizard and a series of steps that we need to configure in order to have a successful installation. So the first step of the install is it's going to extract the files. So I'm just going to leave the defaults, click on install, and these will extract them to that particular folder. And then from here we can then continue with the installation. So at this stage I'm just going to pause it while this goes through. Okay, the files have now been extracted, so the setup is now going through the next stage of installation. At the first point it asks us for a password so we can continue and unlock the installer. The password is lowercase and the password is Carnation. So C-A-R-N-A-T-I-O-N, Carnation, all lowercase. It's going to choose a language. As you can see, there's the default languages: English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish. So you can see here the first option we've came up is it needs the .NET Framework 3.5. So now it's going to exit, and then it's going to ask for a return once that's installed. Okay, the .NET Framework 3.5 is now installed, so let's try it again. So I should be able to just jump straight to the roots inside of Program Files, TrackIt 2019 setup, and run the setup executable from here. So no need to do the extraction as that was previously done. And let's see if we have a bit more fortune this time around. Okay, so no, we do need the password again. Apologies. So Carnation, all lowercase. Select the language. Go through the license agreement. Now, at this stage, it's going to ask us whether we want to create a new database, install obviously the application server, and the other aspect of this is a product called BMC Client Management, or BCM as you might hear it abbreviated. And this does the discovery, the auditing of your assets, and obviously integrates with the asset management module within TrackIt, formerly known as the inventory module. So when you do your discovery and your auditing in TrackIt 11.4 or 11.x, if you were previously using TrackIt, then this is the new version in 2019 If you're all fresh to it, then as I say, it's just going to install client management for that part of the solution. So we'll click on next to allow everything to install. If you choose not to install client management and do it at a later date, then again, there is no real hardship, no problems with that. There's some great documentation that shows you how to integrate those two. So it's asking for some features that's missing from the IIS role. So we'll click on yes to that. And that will run a PowerShell and install those various components that's missing from IIS server. So again, as long as IIS server is installed, then it's going to put those on for you. And I will pause this and allow that to complete. So now it's added those extra IIS features. It's gone to the next stage of the setup and asked us to select a license file. So these can be downloaded from your support profile in the BMC portal. So the licensing portal there, you've got a license file for TrackIt, and then there's a license file for the client management piece. So there are two separate license files, unlike 11.4 if you're accustomed to that. I'm just going to use the default licenses. There is a video that shows you how to update those license files. So if you search those on our channel, you'll be able to access those. So I'm going to click on next. And at this stage, it's then asking me for the destination folder. Again, I'm going to use a default. And then it's asking whether we want to use an existing SQL server or download and install SQL Express. If you are using SQL Express, as you can see, it needs advanced services in order to run successfully with 2019. So this hasn't got a SQL server. So at this stage, I'm going to download and install SQL Express. And as you can see, this is going to take a while. So I'm going to click on yes. And then while it's going through the process, I will pause the video and enable once it's completed. So we've downloaded SQL Express now, and at this point it's asking for a password to add for the SA account that will be created during this installation process. So I'm going to put a standard one that I'm going to remember. Obviously make a note of that, just so you've got that in the future, should you need it. Confirm the password and click on next in this wizard. So at this stage now, it's going to install SQL Express for us, and we will click on pause and allow this to go through the installation process. Just to show you that the installation process is still taking place there. So it's going through the various stages. So once again, I'm going to click on pause and allow it to go through for a number of minutes before we open up the recording again. So the installation has just completed that part of the process and is now going on to the next stage. I'll point this out because we've got the time running in the bottom corner, so you can obviously rewind, have a look, and just to give you a bit of a guesstimation to how much time this will take during the installation process. So the next part now is to set up the website. So again, I'm just going to use the default ones for my virtual directories. As you can see, there are two different URLs, one for your technicians and then one for your end users who, if you give them access to, will log in via a self-service where they can add and view their tickets, access a knowledge base, again if you enable them to, and obviously any kind of announcements you want to share. We'll click on next. And again, this is now asking for the credentials for the admin. So just going to type those in. Click on next. Validated. And here are the files. It's going to copy. It's the configuration. Click on next. And away we go now for installing the TrackIt files. Once again, I'm going to pause this and allow it to go through the process, and then we will continue recording once this part's completed. So the next stage in this process is where TrackIt installs the client management piece. So as you can see, that's going through the installation process. And again, going to click on pause while this takes its time. So at this stage, we are now going into the final stages of the installation process. I believe the application has installed, it's also installed the client management, imported the configuration for client management, which obviously includes that integration piece between the two products. So hopefully a few more minutes and we will have a completed installation, and we will just test to see if that's up and running. So once again, just going to pause for this final stage. Okay, so now the installation is now completed. So it's giving us a window that explains the default ID and password. So as you can see, the first time you log into TrackIt 20XX or 2019-03, as this release is, it's going to create an account in TrackIt called administrator with a password of welcome. This can obviously be changed thereafter. We'll click on next and select the URL to launch. So we're going to just launch the TrackIt installation. Now we may have to reboot the server, but we'll give it a bash to see if it will launch the logon screen. Okay, so we probably need to do a reboot and then we can go back into it and test this. I'm going to pause while we allow the reboot. So the server's been rebooted, so we'll go back into the TrackIt login. Let's see if we have some success. Okay, there we are. So as we saw there, a reboot was important for this particular part of the process. And then we just log in with that default administrator account with the password of welcome. And then at that stage, as we're logging in for the first time, it's going to ask us to change the password. So I'll just type in welcome again, lowercase. Enter a new password. Update that. Log in with a new password. And obviously, if you want to use your Active Directory credentials, then you can configure TrackIt with a directory importer to do that. So not an issue there. And then when you log into TrackIt for the first time, it's going to give you a getting started screen. It's going to talk about the layout and the modules, and the getting started window will just give you a bit more information about where you can access the communities and the knowledge base. So hope that tutorial video was useful for you, and thank you for watching.